I've never read a graphic novel before. I've read the book of this, The Alchemist. Great book. I encourage you either to read this. I'm like only 1/4 through this book, but it's been super cool so far. I don't read stuff like this. Graphic novels are sweet though, man. I'm gonna jump into them and read some more. Really cool. There's this boy, he's a shepherd. He became a shepherd because he wanted to travel. Because there was no other way for him to travel. His father wanted him to become a priest. He said, "Dad, I don't want to become a priest. I want to travel the world. I want to see the mountains. I want to see the ocean. I want to travel." So he's like, "The only other way you can travel is if you become a sheep." So he said, "Okay, a fucking sheep, not a sheep, if you become a shepherd." So he said, "Alright, Dad, I'm becoming a shepherd." The boy becomes a shepherd, and on his journey, he sits down, and this guy comes up to him, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm just a man, I'm just a traveler." And he ends up talking to him, and he says, I'm going to share with you this part. Oh, the man asks the boy, "What are you reading?" And he says, "A book." And he says, "Let me see it." So he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, I know of this book." The boy says, "Oh, really? You do know of this book?" "Yeah." And the man says, "It's a book that says the same thing in all other books. And it's a book that says the same thing all other books say in the world." He says, "It describes people's inability to choose their own personal legend. And it ends up saying everyone believes the world's greatest lie." The boy asks, "What's the world's greatest lie?" The man says, "It's this, that at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate." Just like so you get an image. Like, really cool, man. Never have I read something like this. But it's fun. It's cool. That at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. If you saw my video yesterday, Pavlov's dogs, there is no cage, my friends. There's no cage. There's no collar around our necks holding us back. Man, I talk to I don't know what age this happens to a lot of people, where it says we believe that fate takes over, that we lose control of our lives. I talk to maybe most 30-year-olds, I feel. A lot of 30-year-olds, they say that, "Oh man, kid, as you get older, time just slips by you and you just kind of, you don't care to have fun anymore, you just get in this routine." It's like, fuck that, dude. I'm not going to get into this boring routine. I'm not going to give up. I'm not just going to work some shitty job. Okay, I'm not just going to settle down with some girl because I'm bored and that's the status quo. That's the thing to do. That's the thing that my parents did. That's the thing that people around me are doing. I'm not just going to have a kid because I can have a kid. That's because I'm bored and I got nothing else to do with my life, so let's have a kid. Alright, be real. Why do people have kids? Because they're bored. They don't know what else to do with their life. Okay, I'm not going to just settle for some job because it makes me a decent amount of money, $50K a year. No, that's scarcity, man. Okay, I'm working to be past that. Okay, so these guys, fate doesn't take over. You know what takes over is you leech, or your energy gets leached from you. And I want to talk about this more. People say your 20s are the time for partying, for having fun, for exploring the world. Okay, I disagree with that, man. Look, if you're in college and you're working, you're going to school, good for you. Okay, that doesn't mean shit. That does not mean that from the time you're in college, 4 years, right? So let's say you go to college for 4 years. You're just going to give up 4 years to studying to become this, and then just let it, you're not going to try to grow any other way. Okay, you're just going to, oh, I'm going to college for this, I'm going to do my studies, go to school, and then on the weekends I can just get wasted. I can let my body slip. I cannot read books. I cannot, like, get really good at social skills. I cannot make great connections. Sure, you can do all that, but, like, how many people just go to college and use that as an excuse, like they're doing something? They're doing something with their life because they're in school. I mean, how many of you got, that's an easy route to take. I'm going to school, man. What are you going to school for? You know, it's like, good, go to school. A lot of people don't need to be going to school. If you want to be a doctor, you know what you want to be. You want to be a nutritionist, a dietitian, a doctor, a nurse. You know, you really want to do that, then go to school. You should be going to school to learn, to get an education. You shouldn't just be going to school because your parents told you, because that's the thing to do, because you're not really doing anything, guys. You're just kind of like in that trance, in that zombie mode. Okay, it's going to, what happens after this 4 years? What happens after 4 years of partying and living it up, YOLO? Okay, what happens after that 4 years? What have you really done, accomplished? Man, I'm telling you, I think that 10 years in darkness, right? What does it say to mastery? About 10,000 hours. That's 3 hours a day, I believe my math is on point. About 10 years, 3 hours a day of practicing. So, 4 years you could be spending going to school. You know, go to school if you want. Hone your skills. Hone the skills, man. It's so important. Like, develop yourself. Climb that step up to the mountain. Start climbing it. The opportunity to step up and begin climbing it. This is not time to be wasted just because you're young. It's so, how foolish of a mindset that has been put upon us to just have fun. What are the consequences of just living it up, of partying, of sleeping around, of living for the weekend, right? What are the consequences when we hit our 30s? Because a lot of the guys that have told me that advice, that same fucking advice, I would do not want to be where they're at. Not mentally, not in a relationship, not physically, not financially, nowhere. The 4 pillars, no thanks. I will stay on the track that I'm at, even though it's fucking hard, even though, you know, it gets tough, but I'll stay on the track I'm at. I'll keep climbing this mountain. So back to fate. And then when you get 30, right, 30s, you want to invest those 10,000 hours. Bill Gates, he wasn't a billionaire until it was like 19 years, right? It took him 19 years, and many of us think that we're just going to go, you know, we're going to be so successful, overly optimistic, and not putting the work in, not executing on what we need to do, but just kind of like going to school, getting a job, all right? It's like, what are we really developing ourselves, our characters, our virtues, our skills, our value as people? What do we have to share? And then we start at 20, put in the 10 years of work, become the master, 10,000 hours, the 10 dark years. You come out at 30, you invested the time, then you don't gotta look back and accept fate, accept that you lost control. No, because you put in the time, man. People don't understand that's an investor mentality. To suffer now, okay? There's a lot of different ways you can become an investor. And I'm saying, let me go back because I'm getting off track. I'm going all over the place. You're 30 years old, your energy is not the same as when you were 20 years old. It's just not. Okay? When you were 20 years old, And guys, you might be saying, oh, what do I do with my life, right? I have this all day. You just want to fuck shit up. You just want to, throw stuff around, just pull out your hair. You're mad. What do I do? What is my purpose? What am I meant for? Help me, somebody. Give me a sign. Look, man, you're young. Maybe you're not even young, but we all have energy. We all have to take that energy and put it into something. Okay? Every day, every second that goes by, every minute that passes, we have an energy level that is draining, that we're losing. We're losing some energy. We have to put that into something. Listen, everything we do, watching TV is an energy leech. It is poison if you want progression, okay? Because it's leeching your time. Your time is energy. Your time is money. Okay, energy. You could be putting that time into something else. Opportunity cost. What's the opportunity that I'm losing out? What's the cost of me doing this thing? Right? The cost of, man, listen. If you don't know what to do, man, start looking at what you're spending your energy into. If you read a book a day, if you read 2 books a day, do you think that your life might be a little different than if you just read 1 book a year? Than if you totally just bashed your TV in right now, threw it into the trash? Don't you think your life might change a little, that you might have a little more time to go and hang out with your family, to make better connections, to get a better body? And I'm not saying this about TV. Everything, man. Everything. If you stop listening to music and substitute it for something else. I've said this in past videos, but I'm going full circle here. I'm burning this into my own brain, man. Burn this into your brain. There are so many energy leeches out there. So many ways to steal our time, our focus. If you don't know what to do, right? If you don't know what to do, don't just get down and depressed all that and then go get a bag of potato chips. No, don't fake it till you make it, right? Figure that shit out. Dig deep. Be alone with yourself. Suffer now. Okay, learn how to suffer, man. We all have to suffer. All right, you pick when you want to do that. Suffer now. Suffering now is a hell of a lot better. Be patient now. Love now. Be diligent now. Plan now, guys, right? Put your energy into things now. Start the climb now, because it's a hell of a lot harder when you're older and your bones are hurting you, your back's hurting you, you're stuck. You have a family, you have a house, you got all these constraints, these constrictions. Then it feels like there's a cage around you. That's when the cage feels like it's fucking, you're locked in and it's made out of steel. You can't get out, okay? That's not a good place to be in. So let's suffer now. I'm telling myself this. Suffer now, man. Alright, be careful with your time. Watch your energy. Watch where you put your energy into, okay? And I want to narrow that down even more. I got to be careful. Too much time spent in the gym when I could be doing something else. I got to be careful. Too much time, reading fiction when I could be learning. I got to be careful. Even knowing that, that's me. That's where I'm at. I'm trying to be discerning. I'm trying to be careful with the time that I'm putting into things, the energy. Right? I'm over here reading The Alchemist graphic novel, and I'm saying be careful to learn from the best, but find a balance, okay? Don't be too... Find a balance, man. Life is about... You want to enjoy this life, okay? But we get what we put in. What do you want to get out, alright? So, be diligent, my friends. Keep going. Fate does not control us. With that investor mentality. So, keep going.